Hello, everyone. We are back with another live show for Chesnutspringsalong. And as you can see, I'm joined by Brooklyn. Honestly, I keep getting mixed up with what hand
I
should
do the
go
same
where.
thing. Yeah, it's so confusing.
It's so confusing. But yeah, I have. See, I'm
Yeah,
doing it again. I've got Brooklyn. Oh my god, I'm just like
it's fine. I'm
I'm just
somewhere.
going to stop. But we are both here to talk about Reckless by Elsie Silver, which is the fourth book in the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. And in this one, it's following Winter, who is Summer's sister, and also Theo, who is another bull rider, and Rhett is his kind of mentor. So we will be talking all things non-spoilery and spoilers for this one. It's definitely, from what I could tell in the Discord, there's definitely been a lot of mixed opinions about this one. So it's definitely
Mhm.
interesting. And
Yes.
obviously, Brittany would have been here on the live show as well, but she has DNS the end of the Chestnut Spring series. She couldn't continue on with it. So I just thought I would mention it there. But I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Brittany for obviously being part of Chesnutspringsalong. It's been so much fun doing it with you on the live, doing all the live shows as well. So I thought I would mention that as well. But Brooklyn and me were in it for the end. We're definitely
Yes.
in it for the end. So we might as well just start off with ratings. So
Mhm.
I'm quite happy to go first. So obviously this was a reread for me,
Yep.
and for this one, I gave it 4 stars the first time I read it, and I think I'm going to stick with a 4 for this one as well.
Okay.
I did enjoy it. I did
Yep.
enjoy it a little bit more, but
Mhm.
it wasn't quite a 5 star. But I still had a really good time with it. So I think a 4 is quite a good rating for me for this one. So
Okay.
Brooklyn, do you want to share your rating?
Yes, I did give it a 5.
A
I
5,
sticking with
okay.
my 5s, yes. Yeah, I just can't get enough. I feel like it wasn't as high. Like there's different types of 5-star ratings,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like this is kind of on the lower side. Like it might be a 4.75 if I really thought about it, but I'm going to stay with a 5 because I just had like the best time with it, and I think it was just like my copy just screwed me over constantly. But you guys, like, if anyone watches my vlog, which I'll probably put up like in the next few days, it was just so annoying. It had chapters missing and all the rest of it. It was just a time for that. So lucky Claire helped me and
Because it
sent
was
me
well,
complete.
because you messaged me, didn't you? And you were just like
Yeah.
pages were missing, and I was like, I was even gonna try and gift you a copy, but because
Yeah.
I'm in the UK, I couldn't do it through Amazon.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't let me. I was absolutely gutted. So what I ended up doing was taking pictures of my copy and sending
Yeah.
it to you. So
Yeah, that worked out really well. Like I was
it
happy to
did,
read it
yeah,
on my iPad and stuff because I went to like every bookshop around me because I was on holiday as well. So if I went around
yeah,
here, it might have been easier. But because I was away, I was like, I don't really know where to go. So I went to like the local bookshops, but no one had it in stock. They had the rest of the series except for
yeah.
that one. So I was like, I was just going to read the 30 pages just standing there in the shop. But I couldn't even do that. So yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
helping me.
No, honestly, it's no bother at all. But I found it quite funny.
Yeah, it was very funny. I was like
Very
reading
funny.
it because the first where it stopped, it was in Theo's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and then it went over to Winter, and it was like talking about breastfeeding, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this is not okay. Like, what are you saying, Theo? Yeah, I was just so confused. It was like the worst
Oh God.
over.
It's
So
like such a bizarre thing to go from one thing to like breastfeeding. I'm just like, what?
yeah. What's happening? And I also found it funny that all the pages you sent me were like all smutty scenes. I'm like, of course that had to be what I had to ask for.
It's like I've still got them like all on my phone as well, just to like keep them as a
Yeah,
reminder.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, so
Hello Lee, how are you
yeah.
doing? This was my least favorite in the series so far, although I did enjoy Theo. Yeah, yeah. I think that was the thing as well. A lot of people didn't like Theo, but I
Mm,
actually quite liked him. I liked
yeah.
him a little bit more on a reread.
Mhm,
I think as well. So,
mhm,
well, we'll just talk about obviously our two main characters, Winter and Theo. So we'll start off with Winter. So Winter is Summer's sister, who Summer was in Flawless, and she's definitely, I would say, in the first 3 books, she's definitely deemed as like the cold, icy kind of like I can't. Is Winter older or younger? I can't remember. Is she
older.
below? She's the older sister. So older sister is like she's got a lot of responsibility. She's deemed as like the ice queen. She's like quite closed off from everybody and doesn't really accept help from anybody. But I think in this one, you definitely get a lot more of her, and it's like her character arc. I think out of all of the characters, I think her character arc has definitely been the best one, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that. She has so much more character development than the rest of them, because the other people were like all fine to begin with. Like they weren't going through anything too much. But yeah, I feel like Winter's really like the whole family dynamic of the I was going to say riders, because I've been reading another cowboy romance. Are they just anyway, what are they? Theo, not Theo. Oh, the last name. What's their last name? I can't even remember now.
Easton, something like that.
Yeah.
Easton,
I think that's right. Yeah, just like their whole family, I feel like welcomed her so lovingly and everything.
Yes.
So that made a really big difference in her life, and raising a child with them as well was really nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that helped her.
Yeah, definitely. Winter in this one, we definitely see a lot more of her ex-husband, Rob, who was in the first book, if I remember correctly. He was a doctor, I think, if I remember correctly. And it all came out that he basically groomed Summer when she was younger. And it's like she's been obviously trying to get away from Rob and separate from him. And she's kind of like in a really low place. And then that's how she ends up meeting Theo. And they end up having a one-night stand, and that's pretty much it. But then Winter, this isn't a spoiler, it's pretty much on the back of the book. She basically finds out that she's pregnant. And she does end up telling Theo that she's pregnant, but Theo basically just says, okay, thanks for letting me know. And then we do a time jump, which I thought in this one, I think worked quite well. Because the first time that I read it, I wasn't quite sure about the time jump, because obviously it's quite a big chunk of time. I think it's like 18 months later, and it's like we don't really know what's happened and the reason why Theo basically doesn't step up and help Winter out with the baby, and just doesn't want to like acknowledge it or anything like that. And I think that the way Elsie Silver did that, I felt it was a little bit different, but I think that she did deal with it quite well. I don't know your opinion on it, Brooklyn, but
I think at first I was like very angry, because I was like, who is this man and why did he do this? Why did he say that? But as like, I was so angry at him. I was like, I thought he was going to be different. But as we learn what really happens, I feel like the time jump worked really well, because we kind of like go back to things and stuff. And yeah, I feel like it worked well for Winter's character as well, because you could see that she did do it alone for that pretty much that whole time, with like a little bit of help from like Summer and the family and everyone. But I really liked seeing that she was so independent and kind of just, she is the type of person that wouldn't like prod at Theo. Like he said no, he doesn't like really care basically.
Yeah, because it's like
letting him know.
Yeah, and it's like I think from what we'd seen, like she definitely was deemed as like the icy cold sister that didn't want to accept help from anybody, and obviously she's got a baby now, and it's like she was definitely opened up a lot more to accepting help and things like that as well, especially for Summer. And I think you definitely see the sister relationship between Summer and Winter grow so much more. I mean, they were close, but I definitely think in this one, because obviously Winter's got a baby now, and it's like she's opening up and accepting help from her family, like from Summer and her dad as well. And it's just, I think it's definitely a great thing to see a really good sister relationship getting more like a lot better as the book goes on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I have to admit that unplanned pregnancy trope is really not my favorite, and I think that that's why it didn't work well for me. Yeah, I think a lot of people that I've heard, like, unplanned pregnancy isn't a favorite trope of theirs, and I do understand that. Like, I do get that.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think some people would say it's just like an easy kind of route to getting, you know, like the happily ever after at the end. They've got a baby at the end, and it's like, I kind of get that. But I think in this, it did work well.
Yeah, I think it worked well because he kept saying, like, I kept your number. I was going to contact you at some point. Like, he was always planning to come back to her at some point, baby or not. So I think that worked really well for them. And, like, he still wanted to be close with her, even though they like didn't matter about the baby.
Yeah.
He would still want her. So I think that worked.
Yeah. I mean, as Theo as a character, obviously he's also a bull rider as well. And I liked the fact as well with Rhett, obviously being the main character from Flawless, like how he's matured as well and being as more, we see him as more as like a mentor figure for Theo as well, because obviously we can chat about spoilers now. So kind of the main reason why Theo basically didn't want to get involved with Winter and the baby because his dad had passed away and he doesn't really have a father figure in his life. And I think it was just the anxiety of not having a father figure and then obviously being a father figure for someone else. I think it definitely impacted on him quite a lot. But having Rhett as a mentor, he kind of saw him as a father figure in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and he had that, like, because he didn't answer that message that Winter sent, did he? It was his like management that is like connected with Kip.
I don't know if my internet's going, sorry.
What's that?
I think my internet was going there, sorry.
Is it okay now?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so. Right.
Yeah.
Right, I'm all good.
Yeah, so he wasn't the one that replied to the message that Winter initially sent. That was right. Yeah. So I think that like really messed him up for a little while, and that was really emotional to read, and like him realize that he wasn't there for like 12 months or 9 months of the baby's life.
Yeah,
That was
I
really
think
hard
he
to
does,
read.
and I think he did feel guilty about that.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. But it was like it was good to get that like understanding that he wasn't there because he really didn't want to. Like it was nice. I was like hating him, and then I was like, oh no, I love you again. It's okay.
Yeah. Because it was like, I think Theo, I think he's basically deemed as like the ladies' man and all that kind of stuff. But it was like, I didn't really see that. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't really like, it was kind of told to you rather than shown, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I even feel
That's
that
probably the only thing I would say about Theo's character. He was deemed as like the ladies' man, but it was like, we didn't really see that.
Yeah, there was just like that one girl that rocked up to his house, and then that was it, really.
And that was it.
Yeah, because even in Flawless, when we were looking at Red and stuff, and we got like a little bit of an introduction to him, there wasn't that many girls around. Like it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it was kind of brushed over.
Yeah. But I did really like how the relationship between the both of them, it was kind of enemies to lovers in a way, because they were all like making kind of like comments to each other and stuff. And it's like Winter was like quite adamant that she didn't think Theo was going to step up and things like that. But when he was determined that he was going to step up and she really opened up to him a lot more, I really, really, really liked that.
Yeah, that was nice. And the fact that Theo always kind of defended her as well. Like he never had a bad thought about her and didn't take anyone else's opinions as his own. He kind of just wanted to make his mind up for himself and get to know her. But I felt a little bit, it was a little unrealistic when he was like to Rhett saying, I liked her from the first moment I met her. Like I knew that she wasn't a bad person and stuff. And it's just kind of like, how do you know that? All you know is what Rhett has told you from Summer's perspective, which isn't really that great. So like, why would you feel this way? But anyway.
And it's like, obviously because it was the whole one night stand thing, and I was just like I loved her from like the first moment I saw him. Just like, it's just like, you've slept together once. It's like, you know, like that was probably the only thing I was a bit like, really?
I agree.
Another character that I really, really loved was Theo's mum. I loved Theo's mum. I thought she was great. And it's like she totally embraced Winter and the baby. And it's just like she was wanting to just be a grandmother and be dead involved. And I loved that. I really, really liked that.
Yeah, because she so easily could have been really mad at Winter for keeping it kind of a secret, I guess. But because Theo explained it to her and because they're those types of people, I felt like it was really well handled and she took it on board really well. And that was nice that they could have that mother figure there as well for Winter, because she didn't have that. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He even said he knew that he was going to marry her. I mean, really? Just like after just one night stand, really?
Yeah, a bit insta-lovey, but...
A little bit, a little bit. But Yeah, I really loved by the end of it how it was Theo and Winter and the baby. They all had like their little kind of family dynamic by the end of it. I thought it was really, really sweet, and it was just like Theo was like me and my girls, and I'm just like I just thought that was so sweet.
Yeah, I love that too. That was really nice.
Yeah. And I would say like a big factor of it, obviously, with Winter and her ex Rob, he just rocks up out the blue and also finds out that Winters was pregnant and has had the baby, and he's like, "Oh, you need to go and get a DNA test," and I'm just like, "What?"
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It was lovely that Winter changed Vivi's name to include Theo's mum's name. Yes, I loved that. I loved that. That was so sweet. And it's like the whole thing, obviously, with him, like Rob, like rocking up and the whole DNA test thing. And it's like you definitely see Winter actually standing up for herself and just like, no, like you're not controlling my life anymore. And it's just like, I'm done with you now. Like, I'm moving on. I've got Vivi and Theo. I want to be with him, and just like standing up to him. I really, really like that. It's just like her character arc is like grew so much in this book, and I just absolutely loved Winter by the end of it. I think she's definitely probably my favorite character now.
Yeah, I see that. I think that's the same for me as well. And like her relationship as well with the other girls, like that was nice to see.
Yeah.
All the moments in the gym, like I just loved that so much because it's such a good thing that like Summer has got this gym and it's from the start and it's kind of like brought them all together in each book, which is quite funny. So I really just love that. And seeing also like Jasper and Sunny from that perspective was really cool as well.
So I really liked the fact that it's like all the women from all the books are all kind of like a friendship group now, and obviously Winter with a new baby, and she's accepting help from people like the girls, and it's just like they're all like looking out for each other. I just think it's so great, like the female friendships in this that have like grown as the books have gone on. I think it's really, really nice to see that. I wanted to Harvey and Sloane's mum.
Yes,
I'm just like, I want that book.
I know.
I mean, it's a little bit icky because obviously Sloane's mum was Harvey's wife's sister. So that's probably the only icky thing about it. But I think that they do get on really, really well.
Yeah, they do.
I'm just like, I want Harvey's book.
Surely that will be something because I feel like Elsie Silver loves doing interconnected things. So surely that's coming.
Yeah, I think I've heard, I don't know, I think it might be in one of her other series. We do get a little novella for Harvey, but I don't know if I think it's the Gold Rush Ranch series, which is series set in like a different bit of it. But and you get Violet's story, who's the other sibling. So, but I think you do get a little novella for Harvey, but I want a full book. That's what I want.
Yeah, a novella isn't enough.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to mention. I haven't wrote any notes down because I haven't had a chance. But let me see. I think I would say the spicy scenes and stuff in this one I thought were quite good. I didn't feel like anything was like fringy or anything. I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. I was like annoyed at the start when it just faded to black, but I'm so glad that we got it by the end. Like they went back to that because I was so annoyed. I was just getting excited, getting into it, and then all of a sudden there was nothing. But I think that worked really well because it was way too early in the book for something like that to be shown, I think, between them. So it made it mean a lot more towards the end. So that was good as well.
Yeah, definitely. I should have written some stuff down, but I didn't.
That's okay. And I wrote also how it starts with the dinner that was in Powerless at the end of Powerless.
Yes, yeah, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, we didn't get to see any of that, so I really liked that we got like a little bit more of that, and yeah, we got to see everyone. Yeah, I feel like she does a really good job. Like she doesn't leave you hanging for anything. Like she knows what you want to see and she gives it to you. So
yeah, definitely. But I do understand why people might not like this one. I mean, especially with the unexpected pregnancy and stuff like that. And I could tell from the disc, like some of the comments and stuff, a lot of people didn't like Theo and what he did. And it's just like he just eventually rocks up and he doesn't explain it in the beginning, but we eventually get the explanation. And I think maybe people just maybe didn't like that.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I do get that. But
Yeah.
and it's like the whole thing obviously with his dad's dying, and it's like he didn't have a father figure in his life, but he's got Rhett as his mentor, and obviously Harvey's around as well as kind of a father figure. But I mean, there wasn't much interaction there, but
Mm.
he is kind of like a father figure, like in a
Yeah.
way. And I do get obviously the anxiety of obviously there's this baby now that's in his life now, but he does realize that he did mess up and he
Yeah.
just left without any explanation. And he does want to try and step up and be there for Winter and the baby and let her know that he is going to stick around. He's not going to go anywhere. And I really, really liked that because obviously in real life situations, it might not go as like smoothly as that. But I think in this, it worked really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like if I was Winter, I would have been more annoyed and like I would have tracked him down in person and been
Yeah.
like, what is wrong with you? As if you would say that to me. But I
Yeah.
get it from Winter's background and how she's been like disappointed so many times by like men in her life that she
Yeah.
kind of just went, okay, I'm going to do this by myself. So that kind of, I had to think about it a little bit before I got annoyed about like what was
Yeah.
happening. But I think it worked really well. And it was nice to see it kind of all come together. And yeah, you got that like little bit of Winter being able to independently raise this child, but also having the help as well and
Yeah,
accepting.
definitely. And it's like, I think even our dad's coming around by the end of it as well and
Yeah.
accepting Vivian as his granddaughter as well. I thought that that was great because I think in the past, it's like her dad, like, especially when it was in Flawless, it was just like, I didn't really like Summer's dad. Well,
Yeah.
Summer, like Winter's dad in the beginning, but I think by the end in this one, he does eventually kind of turn it around a little bit and he does accept Vivian as his granddaughter and wants to be there for Winter and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's definitely a really good thing in this book where it's like the families all do kind of come together by the end of it, which I think is really, really great to see.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Laura. Popping in and booping like, haven't read this one yet, so have you on mute. Oh, well, I hope you eventually do read it, Laura. I also loved how Theo was with Vivi. Yes, I thought he was such a great dad. Like in the moments when it was just him and Vivi and the baby on his own, I thought he was so sweet.
Yeah, it was lovely. And when he came in that night and just said to Winter, you go to bed and I'll look after Vivi, like I loved that. So cute.
Very, very cute.
Yes.
You're making me want to change my rating from a 3 to a 4-star. I mean, it's a lot of positives, but I definitely do think there maybe were some negatives with it as well. Like I do understand like why people wouldn't enjoy this one as much because the whole unplanned pregnancy, but it's not a spoiler. It does kind of tell you on the back, so you do kind of know what you're going into. But I do understand why people wouldn't like it as much.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you like don't read up until why he doesn't come back, I feel like that is kind of a red flag. And I nearly was like really not happy with the book at that point. But when I realized and like had that whole scene of him finding out, I felt like that really amped up the book for me and made it so much better.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I think I definitely the first time I read it, because it was like the time jump I wasn't expecting because we haven't seen Elsie Silver do that in the other books. So I thought, oh, this is a little bit different. I don't know how I feel about that. But when you actually get to that point where you understand why Theo did what he did and the whole reasoning behind it, I was just like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
And I think it really works in this.
Yeah, me too.
I'm maybe tempted to put mine up to a 5 as well, actually, now I think about it. I did really, really like this one. I did. Yeah. I really did.
I think I don't know if it's my favorite one so far. I can't get over Powerless. I don't know why I like had such a good time with that book, but I just did. I
think Heartless is still my favorite.
Yeah, that's
but this probably would come in at a close second actually now.
Yeah, I liked how we had a grumpy female and a sunshine male.
Yeah,
like
that was quite nice as well.
Yeah,
it was like she was grumpy and he was sunshine, where it's normally the other way around, which I really do quite liked.
Yeah, I like that too because that's like me. I feel like it's a bit more relatable. I feel like I could really relate to it. So
yeah, but I think overall, I think that this one, my favorite is Heartless. Yeah, I think a lot of people's favorite is still Heartless, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm a little bit nervous for Hopeless, which I have read, but Hopeless is my least favorite.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like it more this time, or maybe it will be less.
Maybe I don't know. And it's like, obviously, no spoilers, but the only thing, I just like, Bo isn't my favourite character.
Yeah, so far, I really was interested to see him in this book reacting
We
and
don't really
interacting.
get Bo.
Yeah, he like was angry at Winter because Winter was kind of his doctor for a little while there, and like not giving painkillers to him or something was mentioned about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we don't get much of Bo at all because he's either gone or like moping about doing something.
Yeah, it's
So,
like I've never ever known like a soldier to go on tours as much as he does. I'm just
yeah,
like, he's always away, and I'm just
yeah,
like, I'm kind of like, what's the point of having him in this whole series if he's hardly around?
yeah,
Personally, for me,
yeah.
but
And I
yeah.
feel like because his love interest is the waitress at the bar,
Yes,
yeah, from the family that they don't like.
yeah,
Is that right? Yeah. Which I feel like hasn't been mentioned since Flawless. So I feel
yeah. We
like
kind
that
of got a
could
little
be
brief mention of, I think her name's Bailey, but kind of
yeah,
we got mention of her in Flawless, and then
yeah,
it hasn't like come up again since. So I'm just
yeah,
kind of like, what's the point, really?
yeah, that's a big jump.
But I mean, like, I'm excited to read it. I'll give it a go again and see. I might enjoy it more or I might not. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. We'll
So I
see.
think I gave it, 3 stars the first time I read it.
Okay. All right.
So it might go
Mhm,
down, it might go up. I'm not sure.
interested.
Yeah. So I don't think I've got anything else to talk about. I mean, Brooklyn, is there anything else that you
I don't think
enjoyed
so.
about it, or
Nothing really. Basically, in my vlog, you'll just see me like being obsessed with Theo.
yes.
That's like all that happens, and then me annoyed at my published book. So that's the basic.
I don't know. I'm on the fence of who my favorite is. So I love Cade, but I think
Yeah.
Theo is definitely a close second for me.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say.
He's
I love
so-
Jasper too. Jasper's really sweet, but I think Theo is definitely probably my second favorite.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think definitely probably my favorite out of the female characters is probably Winter, I would say.
yeah, for sure. She's definitely my favorite too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think a lot of people love Cade. A lot of people love Cade. And I'm just like, there's definitely got to be a point now where they have to make like a TV series or a movie of this.
Yes,
Like this whole series. I would love that.
that would be so good. I feel like they could do a really good job with this too because it's not too complicated. Like
No,
it's just all
no.
interconnected and everything. They could do it.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I think overall I had a really, really good time with this one. And yeah, I think I definitely loved it a lot more on a reread. I would say it's definitely not my favorite, but I think it's definitely probably my second favorite next to Heartless, I think now. And
Yeah.
I think I am tempted to put this up to a 5-star, actually, when we're
Yeah.
talking about it there.
Yay!
Yeah, I think I might do a 5.
Very good.
Yeah. So I don't think if anybody else has got anything that they want to add, so we might as well just wrap this up.
It's good.
So yeah, so we're finally moving on to our final book for Chesnutspringsalong, which is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like
It's
it's gonna be so weird not
long.
reading these books. Yeah, I know. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I won't have like a set book each month now to read.
No. Yeah. But it's been good fun. It's definitely really been good fun.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah,
just nice. I think it's been really nice to read it with other people and getting
Yes.
everybody's opinions and reviews and stuff. It's definitely been very, very mixed, which
Yeah.
I didn't think that was going to happen, but it's definitely been a lot of mixed opinions on this. I thought everybody was going to love it.
Yeah,
But
I feel
it's
like that's what happens.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, we might as well just wrap up then, guys. So I think the live show for Hopeless will be on my channel, and
Yep.
it should be the first Saturday in September. I'll double check that. If anything changes, we'll let you guys know. But yeah, that will be our final live show for Chesnutspringsalong. Crazy. But yeah, guys, so I hope you enjoyed listening to us chatting about Reckless, and we'll hopefully see some of you there for Hopeless in September.
Yes.
So I hope you all enjoy your day, evening, whatever time zone you're in, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.